And now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus. Voici que tu vas concevoir et enfanter un fils. Tu lui donneras le nom de Jésus. Dear friends, on this feast of the Immaculate Conception, we gather in this cathedral church entrusted to the patronal care of Mary, Mother of the Church and first disciple of Christ. We gather for an historic moment, which is the inauguration of a new chapter in the history of the people of God who make up the Church of Christ in this area. We have heard this evening the decision of the Holy Father and the proclamation establishing the new Archdiocese of Halifax-Yarmouth. Last night, we celebrated the Eucharist, and we did this same liturgical gesture and act in the Cathedral in Yarmouth. And the reason we picked the 7th of December and the 8th of December is because the 7th was the feast of St. Ambrose, which is the name of the cathedral in Yarmouth. And today, December the 8th, is the feast which honors Mary, which is the name of this cathedral. And so those two dates seem to make sense. Of course, it meant that we had to do a lot of driving. But we got there and we got back, and here we are. And so we are doing something tonight which is an important moment in our history. The decision to bring together and to unify these two local churches comes after many years of reflection and consultation and discussion. And perhaps it has been more of a concern for those who made up the Church of Yarmouth than those who make up the Church of Halifax. Nevertheless, this decision affects everyone. And it opens up a new era for all Catholics touched by this change. It is important for us all to understand that what's happening here tonight is not a merger or a fusion or a takeover. It's a canonical and primarily pastoral decision. It's a new creation dictated by the necessity for our faithful to face the challenging circumstances of our changing local church. It's about adjusting and refitting ourselves to more effectively deal with the pressing pastoral demands which face us, and to do so with the resources available at this moment in our history. Now, this decision did not come without some regret and perhaps even disappointment, particularly by people of Acadian background in the Yarmouth area. For some, tonight is clearly the end of an era And while a chapter closes, it is not the end of the history of a people. It is important for us who make up the Church of Halifax to be particularly sensitive to this ending and the mourning which naturally comes from it. The Catholic faithful of Halifax, of course, also experience their own emotions with the ending of this chapter in the history of the Catholic Church in this region. As we all face these endings, perhaps we do so with mixed feelings, but also with faith. And tonight we draw upon our belief, and we have heard this said many, many times, and you'll recognize the words. We draw upon our belief that life is not ended, it is changed, and life continues. C'est cette conviction, enracinée dans notre foi en la résurrection, qui m'amène à partager avec vous ce soir la vision et la foi sur lesquelles ce nouvel archidiocèse doit se construire. Je vois dans l'Évangile d'aujourd'hui, qui nous parle de l'expérience de Marie, une inspiration et une lumière qui nous montre le chemin à suivre et qui va nous soutenir en ce moment où nous faisons nos premiers pas dans la foi sur une nouvelle route qui s'ouvre devant nous. Lorsque l'ange annonce à Marie qu'elle a été choisie, qu'elle est pleine de grâce et qu'elle donnera naissance à un enfant, Marie répond avec une perplexité qu'on peut comprendre, et même avec une certaine peur. Mais l'ange la rassure et l'encourage à ne pas craindre. Et comme Marie est une personne de foi profonde, elle fait confiance au messager de Dieu et elle a dit oui. Je vois dans l'histoire de Marie une expression ou même la personnification de ce que nous sommes tous. Comme elle, il nous est demandé de faire confiance à Dieu, de collaborer avec le Saint-Esprit et de permettre au Fils de Dieu, Jésus-Christ, de naître de nouveau chez nous par notre coopération avec la grâce de Dieu et surtout de ne pas avoir peur. Like Mary, we are asked to go forward without fear. Are we ready and willing to allow the grace of the Holy Spirit to come upon us as the disciples of Christ here in Halifax-Yarmouth? Are we ready to say yes to the plan that wants Christ to be more profoundly encountered in our personal lives, become real and more relevant in our social and cultural lives, more visible in our lives and in our faith communities, and more clearly the focus of attention in the new possibilities and opportunities presented to us as we become the new Archdiocese of Halifax-Yarmouth. The substance of these reflective questions is not unlike what is asked of Adam in the first reading for today's feast. God asks, "Where are you?" This is not because God couldn't find Adam. It's a much more pressing and probing question addressed to the hearts of us all, which touches our relationship with God, with Jesus Christ and with our Catholic Church. And so tonight, where indeed are you and I at this juncture in our faith journey? What do these matters of church structures mean really to each one of us? Does it make any difference? Will any of these canonical change matter or make any difference in our daily experience? Well, we could just receive what is happening here tonight as a ritual, or we could look upon it simply as the implementation of an administrative decision. But let me say that I think that we would be missing the opportunity and the more profound point of this gathering here tonight. I would like to suggest and propose that this moment in our lives as a church is like the moment which changed Mary's life. It's also like the moment and the experience which transformed Elizabeth's self-understanding, which went from seeing herself as an old lady and barren to suddenly recognizing that she carried within her the seeds of new life. As the focus of these two women was, so ours tonight must be on recognizing the hand of God in these transforming events and acknowledging that new life is being generated in us because nothing is impossible to God. In fact, it is important for us all to see that God has great plans and great expectations for the people of this new Archdiocese. And I believe that because I read it in the words of St. Paul, where God said in the second reading for tonight that we are destined, He has destined us for adoption as sonship, to sonship as His own through Jesus Christ. Je pense que c'est ce que Dieu nous demande, à nous, ses fils et filles, si nous le laissons travailler avec nous. Quand Saint Paul a écrit cette lettre aux Éphésiens, il s'adressait à quelques-uns des premiers chrétiens qui s'étaient engagés à suivre la voie du Seigneur. Ils étaient même vus comme les premiers à avoir mis leur espérance dans le Christ. Ces premiers chrétiens avaient décidé de changer leur vie en profondeur et d'accepter le prix attaché à la vie du disciple du Christ. Ils avaient fait ce choix à cause de l'espérance que le Christ avait mis au cœur de leur vie. Et nous, les disciples du Christ aujourd'hui, nous devons nous aussi participer à cette même espérance qui a formé nos ancêtres dans leur foi. C'est cette même espérance que je veux voir vivre au cœur de cette nouvelle fondation qui est l'Archdiocèse d'Halifax-Yarmouth.